1 and 2, 1 and 2.
All right, we'll get started. Thank you for coming. Thanks for being patient while we try to coordinate this and make things work and get the kids the recognition that they deserve in person. So thank you again for being patient and waiting while we figure out what was best. So hopefully this goes well. Again, thank you for being here. Those that can't be here, Zaleski Sports has kindly, once again, offered to help us out. So they'll be streaming us tonight as well. We will get tonight started with our cross-country coach, Hannah Olson.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mainchain. So our fall 2020 cross-country season, well, it happened. It happened, and I still say that with full excitement and a smile on my face, and maybe just a tad bit of surprise while I wonder how it actually happened some days. Despite my regular grumblings to Coach Mainchain and my strange sense of sarcasm and negativity that can often creep out in conversation, our season happened, and somehow the team successfully ran in 9 meets, had a conference meet, and even sent 2 runners to a state meet. We are fortunate to end with a state, and I, as their coach, am grateful for having that opportunity to be able to complete a full 2020 season. This season obviously looked different from years past, and I know I won't be the only coach up here today telling you that. Every single day we went into practice wondering, would there be another day of practice? Every meet, I think, was more appreciated by everybody, by the runners, by the parents, by me as a coach, knowing that it could at any time be our last meet. The season obviously didn't provide the opportunities for team building, for the friendships that are usually made, and for the fun that it has in the past. We had to cancel the preseason overnight camp, our annual swim practice went out the door, and the tough decision to separate the 2 communities at practice and during travel was made for the safety and the health of everyone involved. This season was definitely full of change and uncertainties and some disappointments along the way, but it definitely required flexibility, patience, and understanding from everyone who was involved. With all of that said, this season also did bring 2 very successful teams to our loyal Greenwood communities. Although our numbers of runners were down on both the boys and the girls' side, we had high quality runners who continued to work hard and grow with each passing meet. This season, our girls' team was able to bring home 3 first place trophies and take that number 1 spot at the meets. And they ended their season 4th overall at conference. By about that midpoint of the season, our girls team finally figured out they could be competitive and that they were a good team, and to see them put their heart into each meet and into each practice was awesome to see. On the boys' side, they also did find success too with several strong runners, and they were able to take first at 1 meet as well, and they placed 5th overall at our conference meet. And in cross country, our conference is not separated by East and West, so we are competing at our conference meet against the entire Clover Belt Conference. I believe that brings about 12 or 13 teams. So to finish in the top 5 by both our boys and our girls team is something exciting to see. And watching them run at conference was definitely one of the highlights of our season. To have them run a great race, finish utterly exhausted and ready to just collapse, and then they figure out they actually ran their season best, or they ran well as a team. There's nothing that just brings you more joy to see that success come at that meet, and it was just a really fun, perfect meet to watch. At this time, I'm going to ask our runners when I call their names to come on up. This year, I don't believe he's here right now, but this year running on our team and earning his first varsity letter is freshman Cody Eckes. Although I know the decision to run cross country this year instead of play football definitely came with a little flack from his peers, I am sure glad that he made that transition as he became one of our solid top 5 runners. I wish we could have had a few more meets for him, as I think he really found his stride right at the end of the season. And he definitely was not done showing us what he was capable of doing yet this year. Earning his 3rd varsity pin is junior Ashton Palms. Ashton has stepped up this year in a very surprising way, to say the least. we always knew he had potential, but it felt like it was kind of hiding within him. And this year he let that go. He became a leader on our team. You can come up here, Ashton. He became a leader on our team, and there was definitely a fire ignited within him this year. And he was usually within that top 3 in terms of our team placings as well. Hey, stay up here. I am already looking forward to what he is going to bring, hopefully for track this spring as well as fall next year for us, as he seems to caught that bug, and he knows he can be competitive and he knows he can be good. Also earning his 3rd varsity letter is junior Avery Horvath. For the 2nd year in a row, Avery has been our strong number 1 runner. In his junior season, Avery has earned first team all-conference honors with his 5th place finish at conference, I believe. He qualified for the sectional meet after a not so great subsectional race, and I know he was nervous about moving on. And he proceeded then to run one heck of a smart sectional race to qualify for the state meet. Avery is the first Greenwood runner since 2004 to qualify for the state cross-country meet, and it is just a true testament of his hard work. Although I know that he felt defeated and a little bit discouraged when he learned that we were actually bumped up to Division II this year, he didn't completely let that dream of running at state fizzle out. There was that little spark still in him, and I knew he was capable of doing it, even on days he maybe didn't quite believe he could. To talk about another highlight of the season, watching Avery run sectionals was definitely that second highlight. And it was without doubt one of the most fun races I have ever had the chance to coach. There was a lot of drive, determination, and perseverance from Avery, and maybe just a tad bit of yelling from his coach. I'm not sure who actually sweat more during that race, him or I, but I know I did not have much of a voice left afterwards. And I think everyone that was there left Westby feeling pretty pumped up and excited about him moving on. And like everything else, this year's state was different for him. Rather than having one race for Division II at Wisconsin Rapids, the WIAA split up the division into 3 different races, and we ran them at Colby. So although he was familiar with the course, I mean, state was just a whole different experience than what it would have normally been. But I think Avery was still able to soak that in a little bit, and hopefully will provide him with even more motivation for, again, track and next season to get back to state, hopefully in a more normal year. So in addition to the honors that I've already mentioned, it should then come as no surprise that Avery has also been chosen as this year's most valuable runner for our boys team. Finally, wrapping up our Greenwood runners is senior Rylan Littner. Rylan started running cross country her sophomore year for us, and thus is today receiving her 3rd varsity pin. Right from the get-go 3 years ago, I could tell that Rylan was going to be a strong runner. In her senior season, Rylan has earned a 2nd team all-conference honor with her 12th place finish at the conference meet. This is the 2nd time Rylan has earned that honor of 2nd team all-conference. And I'm not sure she realizes this, but all 3 years that Rylan has ran for us, she has earned a conference honor, either 2nd team all-conference or honorable mention. Rylan has stepped up as a leader on our team, and being the only girl from our Greenwood side of things, it didn't slow her down one bit. She has led the way in bringing our 2 communities together, and between her and Savannah Schley, our other senior girl runner from Loyal, they have mastered the art of making their younger classmen and their coaches laugh, usually by their play hard, work hard attitudes. Oftentimes that work hard attitude did come with some grumbling along the way, but I learned that when it comes down to it, this girl is a workhorse. She is genuine, and she is one of the best teammates I have ever had come out of our program. It doesn't matter the year, the rank on our team, the community they were from. Rylan has treated everybody with respect, and as a friend and as a teammate, and was never hesitant to step out and help someone else up and help someone else to become a better runner. She's definitely an athlete that I hate to see be a senior. I hate to lose her next year, as she will be dearly missed on our team. And this year, she has been chosen, I believe, for the second year in a row as well, as our Coach's Choice Award recipient for our girls team. So I cannot wrap this up without saying some thank yous. First and foremost to our school board and our administration for continuing to support our team and our sport and our runners. I do not take that opportunity for granted. To Coach Mainchain, who has walked with me every step of the way during the craziness of this season and no doubt has dealt with more behind the scenes than I will ever find out. She's put up with my quirks, my frustrations, my constant questions, and she's always just had an open door for me. So thank you for your confidence and continued trust in me as a coach and guidance along the way. To Wendy Hinker and our office staff in helping keep things run smoothly this year. There's no doubt the season was equally challenging for all of you with the constant communication and changes that came along the way. To Cheryl and our bus company for your flexibility and for always working with us. To our other coaches from Loyal, Jim Gedeman and Randy Allman. To my husband Jeremy, who understands my crazy passion for this sport and who continues to encourage, support, and push me as a coach. To my kids, I got to give them a shout out because they're watching, who have unknowingly given up so much to allow me to do this during those months of the season. And to Brian and Angie Eckes, Tara and Tony Horvath, Richard Palms, Heather Palms, and Matt Brooks, and Rugg and Jenny Littner. I say it each season, but this season especially, you guys have been rock stars. You know this sport comes with often not ideal weather conditions and courses that are not spectator friendly. You continue to travel and support your athlete even when it means you only see a minute of their race. You amaze me each and every season, and you have just been awesome to work with. Thank you for your flexibility and your encouragement and your trust within me this season. I know your runners appreciate each and every one of you, even if they do not always tell you that. And Rylan, not only will I miss you next season, I'm going to be missing your mother's energy and excitement that she brings to each race as well. So if it's possible that I can keep her around, I will. Finally, Rylan, Avery, Ashton, and Cody, you guys have kept me laughing all season long. You have kept me on my toes. You have challenged me, and you have left me speechless more than once. You've made this season a joy, even through its trials. And yet you have never ceased to inspire me. You guys had grit and determination. You continued to train throughout the summer, not knowing if we'd even get to that first day of practice. You have worked a hard day in and day out with all of the uncertainty. Except I do have to mention those V-sits. You guys cannot do a V-sit if your life depended on it. So I'm going to expect you to work on that this summer. Okay? You guys were handed challenges. You were handed last-minute changes. We split the two communities up. You were in a higher division to compete in. You had a new subsectionals. The list just goes on with us this season, but you kept moving forward, and you took it all in stride. I am confident that we won't see a season like this again, and you four have been amazing to work with. So thank you for continuing to show me and the world that our youth are tough and resilient.
Avery, in case you didn't notice, we were able to get the plaque up there in time. I'd like to thank Ms. Krause and Mr. Noah Warner for their work and getting that done and getting you up on the wall there for our state athletes and qualifiers for cross country. So congrats. At this time, Coach Schmidt in football.
First off, I'd like to thank all you parents for allowing your boys to play football. It's a huge time commitment for everybody involved. We all know that. Thank you guys for letting your kids be here. Next, I'd like to thank all the wives and families for this. Again, football for us, it's all year long. It never ends. And we're lucky enough for our wives to understand that, and they allow us to continue to do this. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the successful program that we have. Thank you to Danny Bravner for taking all our stats into them every Friday night. Thanks to my coaching staff, Brad Zimbauer, my defensive coordinator, Lee Bredlow, my offensive coordinator, and Danny and Damon for assisting with that, and also Larry Klobin for assisting on the few nights that he can help assist with that. Thanks to Andy Johnson and Trevor Wietrich for announcing all the games. Thanks to Lisa, Wendy, Joel, Bertie, and Tom for all your help with the field, with everything that else goes on behind the scenes that nobody else realizes that needs to be taken care of. These guys do a fantastic job for me, and I appreciate that. Thanks to Jenny for keeping us on track with this year. It was one of those that we had no idea what was coming each week, and we were one of the teams that were fortunate enough to make it through the entire season without having a game canceled. We had one team cancel on us, but we didn't have to cancel anything. We were fortunate enough that way, and I'll give credit to these boys for following the rules, staying clean, and making sure that we were able to play all 8 games. Thanks to Zaleski Sports for covering our games. The kids loved it. The Hard Knocks was a fantastic thing. I think it was well received by everybody, and it helped us get through this season. When we first started talking about doing it, it was something we were kind of unsure about. When it came through, the kids loved it, and I think that was a big boost for us this season. And thanks also for covering all of our games for the people that weren't able to make it to the games. They could watch these games. Appreciate that. All right, I'm going to bring all you guys up so you guys can all stand up here when we stand up here. Everybody come on up here. Yeah, you guys can spread out along here. Kind of organize yourself in your classes. So this wasn't the typical year we wanted to bring in for 8-man football. With all this that was taking place, we didn't know what to expect coming into our first season of 8-man football. First of all, we didn't know if we were going to play a game. Then we didn't know when our season was going to be. We didn't know who we were going to play. Everything was just turned around. And for us trying to get in a new offense, new defense, not being able to practice with a football, trying to keep distance, it makes it really tough to get anything accomplished. But you know what? I've got 18 really smart kids here. And they showed it. And everything they did, they excelled at. From the first day of practice, they picked up their offense, then they ran with it. We stumbled a little bit coming out of the gates. We ran up against the number 2 team in the state for our first game. And that was a real eye-opener for us as far as how we need to run 8-man football. We made some corrections. The next week we came in against a very tough team again, and we got things corrected. We didn't win that game, played very well in it, but we didn't win that game. After that point, we got things figured out and understand what we had to do. The kids went on and rolled. Won 6 games in a row. With those 6 games, this group of kids averaged 52 points per game. With our final game of the season against Three Lakes, which was our first playoff win since 2014. So that's a big testament to these boys, what they overcame throughout this season here. Unfortunately, the season was cut short, as we all know, to COVID. Who knows how far these guys would have gone? I'd like to guess, but I don't know. Now, this group of young kids, boys, came out every day to practice and not knowing if we're going to have a game on Friday night. And they practiced hard. Every night was practice hard, and we got what we could out of it. This is one of those seasons, who knows, what could it have been? We don't know. The boys ended up finishing ranked number 5 in the state, which is pretty good for never playing this 8-man before. With doing that, statistically, this group of kids finished ranked number 1 as far as scoring points with 419. They also ranked number 1 in team rushing yards with 2,670 yards, and also ranked number 1 in offense with 3,386 yards. Good, talented group of kids. They did a lot. So if you guys know, I like stats, okay? And if you want to get a pen out and start writing stuff down here, it's going to be pretty important to figure out the level that these kids are.
There'll be a test later.
Yeah. Okay, to start with, this is probably the only year that all 8 seniors scored in a football game. One way or another, they all scored. Their highest points per game was 80. We've never done that before. Okay, 80 points is a lot of points. You think we're running the score up? We're not. These guys are that good. They're a talented group of kids, and they're very difficult to defend. If you guys understand the way the game of football and the option football runs, when you have 3 talented running backs, you got to stop somebody. You can't stop all 3, and that's what these guys showed all season long. Our highest points per quarter was 46. 46 points is more than some teams score all game, and they did it 1 quarter. And the next one, this is where it becomes important to pay attention. Rushing yards per game. They averaged 328 rushing yards per game, which is better than the 2011 team, which is number 2, the 1990 team, which is number 3, and the 1995 team, which is number 4. So that shows you the level that these guys are playing at. The next stat we've got is, the number of touchdowns that these guys scored. 47 rushing touchdowns, which is 3rd all time behind the 2011 team and the 1995 team. Okay, so again, that shows you the level of football that we're playing. They scored 419 points, which is 3rd again behind the 2011 team, which had 502, the 1996 team, which had 461, and ahead of the 1990 team, which had 407. So again, 3 teams that are state qualifiers, and they're competing at that level. An interesting defensive stat that these guys have is they have 26 sacks this season, which for a group of kids, that's a lot. And again, that's 3rd behind the 1990 team, which had 32. And again, the one thing you got to figure with all this is these guys did this in 8 games. Everybody else did it in either 13 or 14 games. So what they did, it just shows that we have a talented group of kids here, and they really excelled at what they did for their first year of doing it. This group, one nice thing about this group is they recognized the roles that they needed to fill, and they all did their job. They understood that everybody's got a job, and they all accepted that. They understand that not everybody can be the quarterback, not everybody can be the running back. Somebody's got to be the guy blocking downfield. Somebody's got to be the lineman. Somebody's got to be snapping the ball. And they all understood where they had to, and they did it without any issues. And success comes from being a team player like that, and you can see once they figured out how to do that, they really shined. Okay, let's start with introducing our freshmen, which are down here. Our freshmen this year were Cody Johnson, Levi Littner, and Mason Stiglitz. These 3 guys, we saw big improvements for these guys throughout the season. It's tough coming in as freshmen, your first year playing at the next level, and now you got to play 8-man football. Now you got to throw this COVID thing in there, and it makes it even more difficult. One nice thing is we saw improvement as the season wore on from these guys here. That's what we're looking for from all these guys. Our next group is our 4 sophomores. These 4 sophomores I'm going to mention now are first-year letter winners. So look at their pens. These guys are River Glenn, Christian Thomas, Kate Nutterman, and Wyatt Thomas. This group of kids, they spent most of their time. None of them are here.
Rogan is a
He'll get mentioned. Yep. This group of kids, they got most of their playing time on the special teams. So they gave our older guys a break then, so they were able to get their time in then. This group of 7 kids made up primarily our JV team, and unfortunately this year, our JV schedule was cut short due to some mishaps. But these kids did get time playing at the end of most of our games. When they're out there playing, we saw big things from them. So we know we got an exciting group of kids coming up in the near future. They'll be fun to watch as these guys continue to develop. Christian Thomas was voted practice player this year by his team. And you can see when he practiced, he gave everything he had, and his teammates recognized that. So nice job, Christian. Rogan Travis is our last sophomore. Rogan is a second-year letter winner. Rogan was our left guard and our defensive end. Rogan had a pretty good year this year as he was voted second team all-conference for his offensive line play and first team all-conference by the D-line, which is pretty impressive for somebody as a sophomore. Rogan represents what Greenwood football is in the way he plays and the way he acts. And for that, his teammates nominated him for the Hatchet Award. Nice job, Rogan. The best part is we get all these kids for 2 more years. Up next is our 2 juniors, Fletcher Bredlow and Xander. Both these guys are 3-year letter winners. Fletcher was our middle linebacker, and he played on special teams. He was also the guy who filled in when we needed to. We needed a guy for slot, split end, you name it. He put him in there, and he filled in. Smart kid, knows the offense, and that really made things nice for us. He was voted this year as most improved by his teammates this year. Nice job. Xander was our fullback and corner for us this year. He was not the big yard part of our offense this year, but he was a very important part of our offense. Understanding how the offense, or an option offense works, you got to understand that somebody's getting tackled each play, whether it's the fullback, the quarterback, or a pitch key, somebody's getting tackled. Most of the times, these guys would pile on Z, and he'd get up and they'd say, "You don't have the ball?" And he goes, "Nope, I don't have the ball." And that's a big part of why our offense worked, is because he sold it every single time he ran the ball. And he'd get up and smile, and he just loved it. And you got to give him a lot of credit for that, knowing that he's not getting the ball, but he's going to get hit. And it's got to be a hinker thing, because there's a few of you guys that are playing like that. So I don't know. But Z was voted special teams player by his teammates this year. He did a great job for us with his kickoffs and his 1 extra point he got for us. He was also voted all-conference honorable mention as a kicker this year. Nice job. Gotcha. All right, so now we have our senior group. Okay, first off, we have Jonah Hinker, Austin Ruff, Parker Mitt, Austin Humpke, and Dakota Clark. These guys are all 3rd-year letter winners. And Weston, Schmitz, Cooper Bredlow, and Sully are all 4th-year letter winners. The one thing about this group of kids is they're a smart group of kids. Okay, not only football smart, but academically smart. So these guys, this group of 8 kids was awarded the Wisconsin Football Coaches Academic All-State Award with the cumulative GPA for the whole team of 3.438. That says a lot for the work that these guys put in the classroom and on the football field, to being able to maintain that kind of grade level and still being able to keep up playing football. Not very many teams are able to do this. You have to have 5 seniors minimum to be eligible for this. This group has 8 seniors, and they all qualify for the academic eligibility, which is, it's a fantastic thing to see that. And it's one of those things that you don't ever get to see. Just smart kids, and they show it. And this is something you guys should be proud of, okay? So next we have so this group of 8 started, all of them started on one side of the ball or the other. Each of these guys, whether they know it or not, made a huge contribution to the success our team had this year. This group combined for 213 tackles, 17 sacks, 7 interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries, 2 safeties on defense. Offensively, they accounted for 681 passing yards, 1,755 rushing yards, 670 receiving yards, 40 touchdowns, 27 two-point attempts, 6 of which were made by the line. So that's pretty cool. Big part of our success right here. And we're fortunate enough to have 8 seniors standing here that know the game of football really well. It's pretty good numbers for this group of kids. So to start off, Jonah Hinker, he played our right guard and our middle linebacker. He was our play caller on defense. Jonah is one of those solid kids on both sides of the ball. He's one of those kids you can depend on with everything he does. One big stat for Jonah is that Jonah finished his career with 4 blocked kicks, which puts him number 5 all time. He also finished with 2 sacks and 1 interception on the season. Nice job, Jonah. Austin Ruff played mostly nose tackle for us and some DN and a little bit of guard in a few games. He's very aggressive on defense, and with that, he recorded 5 sacks for this year, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 block kicks. With those 5 sacks, Austin is ranked number 5 all time with 9 career sacks. So he's not here, but nice job. Parker Mitt is our next guy. He's our big guy on defense, and what we're asking for him is to demand a double team on every play. And he did a great job with that. He's not always going to get all the tackles or all the stats, but you know what? He's going to free somebody else up and allow them to get those stats. He was able to shut down the middle for us and force teams to go outside. I think Parker's biggest play came right before halftime at 3 Lakes. Parker got a fumble recovery, and you know what? We were able to find that ball. Yeah, nobody's getting that ball from him. Next up, we have Austin Humke. Austin was the anchor of our line at center. He's a very solid lineman. He was able to handle pretty much anyone he came up against, which helped out our entire line play. The line keeps these stats they call pancake blocks, and we don't know if they're imaginary, but these guys say they're real.
I'm at about 100.
Right, but he is the one that's on top of that list. Every block of his downfield was a big block, and to see your lineman get downfield hustling when your running backs are down to meet him in the end zone, that says a lot for the kids we have. That says a lot for his play. He was recognized because of that by his teammates as our best lineman, and also recognized by the conference as first team all-conference lineman. Nice job, Austin. Next up, we have Dakota Clark. Dakota played tight end and wide receiver for us this year, and also a little bit of linebacker. Dakota, whether you realize it or not, was a big part of our success on offense with our big plays. He was the one that was downfield making that big block, and he got better as the season went on, and you saw it more and more often. Who was down to Dakota's making that touchdown block, which allowed the rest of our guys to have those big long runs that you see. It's that one key block, and Dakota was the one that made that. He didn't play a lot on defense for us, but when he did, he made it count. He ended up with the 2 sacks this season, a fumble recovery on the season. Offensively, he averaged 31 yards per catch and also had a 53-yard touchdown this year. Dakota was voted the utility player this year by his teammates. Good job, Dakota. Next up, we have Weston Schmitz. Weston played our other tight end and wide receiver, and also corner this year for the first time. Defensively, this was new for him, but with that, he still managed to get 4 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries. Offensively, Wes was our passing threat. He averaged 28 yards a catch this season, ended up with 453 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. With this, he was recognized as all-conference, I will mention, as receiver and second-team all-conference as a defensive back. One other thing, Weston also holds the record for the most receiving yards per game with 160. He has the record for total career receiving yards of 950, which was previously held by Andy Sandler in 2006 with 817. And touchdown receptions with 12, which was previously held by Terry Sherman of 9 back in 1984. So nice job with that, Wes. So next up we have Sully Whitford. Sully was our slot back and our outside linebacker. He was our big play guy on offense. And Sully has the ability to make big plays happen whenever he touches the ball. He finished the season averaging 10.6 yards per carry, which is a first down every single time he touched the ball, which is pretty impressive. He is, right now with that stat, he is number 1 all-time as far as yards per carry for the season, which was previously held by Gene Swire back in 1868. So that stat goes back a long way. He ended up with 774 yards rushing, 17 touchdowns. Receiving, he had 15-yard average and 125 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns. But Sully's real skill came on special teams. This is where he was a standout. This year he had a punt return and a kickoff return, both for touchdowns. This brings his total to 5 for his career. And that puts him at number 2 all time for special teams touchdowns. 6 is the record. You needed 1 more. And Cooper took that from you. All total, he has 586 kickoff return yards, which places him at number 3 all time, which is a pretty big stat. Special teams are a pretty big deal. And when you get 1 special teams touchdown, that's big. But when you have a kid that consistently do it every time touch the ball, that's something special. Defensively, Sully played much bigger than his size. He was recognized by everybody, and Sully was voted first-team all-conference as a linebacker. He was also voted second-team all-conference as running back. He was also voted our offensive MVP by the team. Way to go, Sully. Last up, we have Cooper Bredlow. Cooper has been our quarterback for 3 years now, and you can see he's really gotten good at running the option. And it takes experience to run it, and going from transitioning from 11-man to 8-man, I think it was a pretty smooth transition for him. Having that experience of the 2 years prior to be able to read offense, it really showed from the first time he touched the ball. He was our rushing leader and also leader in the conference with 971 yards and 16 touchdowns. He passed for 634 yards and 6 touchdowns. With those stats, that puts him number 2 all time for touchdowns with passing touchdowns with 25, and number 2 all time with passing yards at 2,059 passing yards. It's number 9 all time with passing yards per season with 644 this season. So that's not bad for a running offense. Defensively, we moved it to defensive end, which worked out very well for us. As you can see, it was week 3 when he moved him there, and he never looked back. He took it in stride and made some very big plays. He ended up being our leading tackler on defense with 76 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, 5 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception. He was recognized by the conference as honorable mention for a quarterback. He received second-team all-conference as a defensive end and was voted the defensive MVP and our team MVP this year. Nice job, Cooper. Be proud of that. So this group of seniors They've really helped our program grow, and I can't say enough about them. I'd like to stay around all night long and talk about it, but I don't have the time to do that. Just thank you guys for your time and dedication to our program. Okay, our motto for the season was, let's show them how it's done, and I think you guys did that. Who knows how far these guys could have gone? I don't know. Talented group of kids. Be proud of yourselves, guys. All right, I look forward to what next year can bring. We have this group of kids here, and the kids that are in here. We got playmakers there, so we got something to look forward to. Okay, so thank you everybody for your support this season, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
This year for volleyball, we had 28 girls out, which was great. We were able to hold 3 teams. C team, if you were on C team, come on up here. We had Destiny Durstein, Caitlin Etlicher, Precious Funmaker, Ashley Ham, Tiffany Mitt, Sarah Beth Reif, Brianna Rowe, Adriana Souza, Lainey Trampush, and Brittany Waldy. As C team members, well, you got 4, that's good. C team, especially this condensed season, you had a new offense thrown at you, a new defense thrown at you, you got into specialized positions, and then we also expected you to make every serve over. But you guys did a nice job learning. You're a smart group, and you made strides in, again, that quick season. Coach Jenny Halupko is unable to be here tonight. She did a great job with these kids. They had a lot of fun, at least from what I could tell from the other side of the gym. And I hope you're all back next year, because you need to be, because you worked hard. So thank you. Our JV girls, come on up, which is Jalen Artak, Holly Davidson, Braylon Johnson, Delaney Kirshner, Sierra Myers, Morgan Rice, Liz Revere, Emma Schlew, and Avery Wietrick. A little bit more, that's good. Coach Cindy Wildish Rasmussen took care of these guys for a while. I banned her from talking because we were on a time limit tonight, so, no, just kidding. She lost her voice, no. They're in matches, they were in a lot of matches. They could be ahead by about 12 points, and then I'd leave the gym and I'd come back, and then I looked at the scoreboard and thought, all right. But they were in a lot of matches, very streaky, but that's something that we can work on and get things together. Again, that shortened seasons where a lot of them are learning new things, learning new positions. But they did a very nice job, and again, looking forward to seeing all of your faces back and on the court, not just your eyes, hopefully next year. So thanks, girls, and nice job this year. Thanks. Varsity girls, come on up, or if you were ever on the varsity team. Right away we lost 20 matches. So we lost a third of our season before we even got started. So that's quite a big blow, especially in ours where I load up preseason, I guess, before our conference with a whole bunch of matches, so we're ready to go for conference. So losing 20 matches and a lot of experience of playing time makes a big difference. Overall, we ended 2-8, conference 2-5 with a 5th place finish. Not an outstanding record, but we were in most of those matches, probably besides Columbus. They were heads above us and most other teams as well. We tended to play to the level of our competition, so it was really fun when we played good teams, but frustrating when we played a lower level teams, but we're able to get the wins on those that we really needed to. Our non-letter winners this year, Emma Schlew, she was our one and only backup setter. When I told her she was that, I got that deer in the headlight thing from her, but maybe or fortunately, we didn't need her in that role at the varsity level, so she is able to just focus on at the JV, getting that setting down, and she practiced with us quite a bit, which was good for her. And hopefully next year you have an understanding of what your job will be. All right. Delaney Kirshner joined us late in the season, our postseason. She did a great job all season. I noticed she improved each and every day. She's a consistent all-around player. I needed her as a server at the varsity level, and she immediately went in and missed her first serve. But after that, she did a great job. She didn't miss. So looking forward to Delaney next year. Our first-year letter winners, Kaya Abel. She was our designated back row player for us this year. She's very capable of playing all around, and which probably will be expected of her next year. She improved every day, and her personality started to show more and more every day, which is good. And she was also voted by her teammates as most improved player this year. So congrats. Riley Gardner is one of our taller girls and played at our middle blocker position. She got thrown into that starting position the night before our very first match due to an injury. But she stepped up, did a great job. She does what she can do, and it works. And she gives us lots of chuckles in practice. She gives us good laughs, at least me anyway. She's a super kid to be around. I have plans for her next year on the outside, and use her long arms and hands, and hopefully we can get her up and around the net and get her more active as well. So Riley did a great job for us this year. Jasmine Wolf. Jasmine started the season off very well, getting comfortable in the middle, taking some big swings. And then she took the best swing that she's ever had in her life and then landed wrong on her ankle. So she dealt with a sprained ankle for pretty much the entire season. She worked her way to get back in probably the last 2 or 3 matches, which was pretty difficult, being, the out of shape, out of condition, and working her way back. But hopefully next year will go very much better for her, and which in turn will help us as well, having her as a big presence and a threat up at the net. Lauren Engel is our last of our 3 big middles, which this is the first year we've actually had a little height, I can say. She stepped into her starting role, ready to go, ready to take it, and she led our team in blocks this year. She also led our team in net violations. I don't give out an award for that. Laura is one of the most coachable players that I've ever had to work with, and I love it. Sometimes I just want to shake her sometimes and say, would you get mad a little bit and not just say, okay, I'll do it. But she's great to work with. She's willing and able to do whatever to make herself better. She even agreed that the shot collar for the net violation would be an okay thing to try, but we didn't have to go that far. So looking forward for Lauren's improvement through the summer and seeing what she can put on the court next year. Gracie North, one of our seniors. Gracie played the opposite position, which is a difficult position to play as a right-handed player. She got a few good swings from that and got us some surprise points. Surprise from the other team, not surprise from us, because we know she can do it. And she had some really key swings for us in that spot. She's also able to step up and set the ball if Celine wasn't able to get there. And that's a pretty big job to do as well, because you ask any of these other girls and they'll be the first to run away when you ask if they'll set. She has a good consistent serve. She was able to give us a good run of points sometimes. All through her high school career, she's been very reliable. It's one of those kids that you wish you could just keep forever, because she'll do whatever is needed, whether it's on the court, whether she's the first one to help put up the nets, take down the nets, whatever's asked, she's there, willing to help. Her kindness and willingness will be greatly missed at this program, at least by me. Thank you, Gracie, for all that you've given to this volleyball program. Our second-year letter winners, Mesa Rasmussen. Mesa was one of our outside hitters and 1-2 for our go-to points. She led our team in kills this year with 82, and she was also voted our top offensive player of the year. She's one of our main passers on serve receive, so I set her up to make sure she takes or is able to take one of those passes or the serves. She also played a big part in our defense, getting in her position to pick up a lot of digs. She was second in our serving percentage this year, which is a big key point in my philosophy. Mesa is just an all-around good volleyball player. She can do all the skills. If she could add another 4 inches on her, boy, she would be something. But she has great jumping ability. She's gotten it down. I'm excited to see what she's going to bring this year or next year, because I know she'll continue to work. I think she's still working. So thanks, Mesa, for all your work and time that you put in, and I'm ready for good things next year. Olivia. Olivia is one of our captains. Stepped into a new role that I haven't put out on the floor in years, or a few years, is libero. It's the one with the opposite color jersey. She did a nice job at that position. She was also able to use her hitting abilities, and she did a few tacks from the back row, which she was probably one of the most consistent back row players that I've had in a long time. Playing the libero, Olivia was our dig leader, and she was also voted by her team as the best defensive player this year. What was great about Olivia, she took the lead in this crazy year. She remembered team pictures. She remembered to order t-shirts. You know, she remembered all that stuff that I kind of forgot, but that it's important. So thanks, Liv. I truly appreciate all those little things that you've done and the things that you've done throughout the past years with this volleyball program. So thank you, Liv, for your leadership and that get things done attitude that's going to take you some places. So thank you. Our third-year letter winners, Elaine Artak. Elaine was our other outside hitter and our defensive go-getter. She's always around the ball. She made one of the best saves that I've seen in volleyball in a very, very long time, all levels. Pretty much standing right where Liv is standing. She was backwards and hit down and passed the ball clear across the net. And the Columbus girls were kind of like, whoa, it made it. And we won the point. So it was a fantastic save. And I was glad that I was there to see it. She usually has a good handful of crowd-pleasing moments at each match. She's just fun to watch. She took great pride this year with her serves, as always, and she only missed 2. After she missed the first one, she had this reaction. I kind of looked at the coaches. I'm like, what was that about? And Coach Lupka said, that's the first one she's missed. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, you know, she really takes pride in her serves, which gave her our top server award this year. Again, only missing 2 all season. Elaine was also recognized by the conference coaches and received a second team all-conference award this year. She really looking forward to what Elaine's going to do next year. She's starting to really come around and just her offensive abilities and hitting, and becoming a more complete volleyball player. And with the rest of these girls that are coming back, this junior class, I think we have high potential to do something good next year. So thanks, Elaine. Celine Wietrich was our other captains, another senior, and controlled the team. She is our #1 setter, and without her, the rest of us would really struggle, players and coaches. Celine has a smooth athletic ability about her, but probably what stands out the most, at least to me as a coach, is her calm demeanor. She's level-headed all the time, always in control. Being the only setter, she obviously is our assist leader. She was recognized as all-conference honorable mention by other coaches, and that's hard to do as a setter because you only see the flashy hitters. Celine was able to break into the top 10 all with her setting, and she is now #8 with 628 assists. I am confident if we had a full season that she probably would have reached #5. And that's a pretty impressive list. Top 10 is a pretty impressive list, but top 5 is definitely impressive. Celine was voted by her teammates as one of my favorite awards as a Team Essence Award winner. She just encompasses the word team. So thank you, Celine, for your smoothness, your stability, and your consistent effort these last 4 years. Your setting ability will be missed, but you will be missed as well. So thank you. Thank yous. Thank you for Zaleski Sports for tonight and for covering us on our fall seasons, especially with football. Again, you did a fantastic job, and what a great season for the boys to be followed in. You guys do a great job, and I'm looking forward to working with you this winter season as well. Daniel Clavin for grabbing the book whenever it's needed. You're always willing and able to help out. Judy and Nancy Hinker, our ever-present book and clock at home here. The ladies in the office, you know, especially without Wendy, I'd get lost. I really would. Younger players that had to pull extra duties at a moment's notice, you know, the whole new jobs of the sanitizing of the volleyballs and the other things that you needed to do. Thanks for stepping up and doing that. It really makes a difference. Coaches, for all the extra work that you had to do, and much appreciate the little things that go on. Thank you again to the players. Parents, all of you for being supportive in this crazy, crazy year. You know, doing what is asked and also doing what is asked when we go to other schools. We may not have the best record, but knowing that our kids are doing the right thing wherever we go, that's more important to me right now. Being safe, being healthy, keeping these kids in the classroom and in the gyms and on the playing court, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for them. It's a big deal for us, and we want to keep doing this as long as we can. So thank you again for showing up, coming, bringing you guys in. We hit winter season, you know, Thursday and Friday with our first basketball games, and I hope to continue. We got a full week this upcoming week, and I'm enjoying watching it. The boys at home on my couch, which is much better than standing here in the bleachers. But again, you know, we are able to stream most home games. Most schools are streaming as well. So if you can't get there because of attendance or, you know, due to what other schools allow or what we allow, you know, please check the other schools' websites. There usually is a link there, and you can stream and see our fantastic kids working hard and playing hard and liking what they do. So have a very good night. Thanks for coming, and happy holidays.